Happy 1st of August, everyone. Thank you so much for dropping by and joining me for our continued exciting session of how we're going to convert the dress from Daniel's exciting collection from Marvelous Designer over to DAZ Studio. We have already made a good head start there yesterday, and today, hopefully, we're going to finish it. I'm thinking more adjustment morphs. I'm thinking more dForce. I think also Mugler, good suggestion yesterday. We're going to have a look at the regular weight maps that have been copied into the dress, and we'll see how we can at least smooth them out a little bit so that they don't look quite as drastic when the dress is posed without any adjustments. Let's get some music going before we start. Perhaps with this. See if we can hear it. Yes, we can. Bravado by Just Normal. I like it. Just a quick refresher to see what we're doing today. Blue Owl Productions is here as well. Very good to see you. Good morning, everyone. I can't shout out everyone because there's so many of you. I can try. There's Mugler. There's Ilfmonger, aka Michael Palmer. Of course, if you're logged in as Ilfmonger, you don't have the benefits of the Star Crew, which is a shame. You know, you don't get that little green star. You don't get all the emotes that you get because you're such a valuable channel member, which I appreciate. There's also somebody from Russia. I'm so sorry, I can't read your name. There's Mr. Brian, there's Mr. Chris, and there's also DZ Djeng CG all the way from Singapore. Welcome, buddy. Very good to see you. There might also be Jeremy a little bit later on, who is also from Singapore. Would love to see him. Maybe you guys know each other from shopping. It's crazy notion that. Sorry about that. The dress in question, just in case you weren't here yesterday, is from Daniel's collection. Daniel is also known as Jet Set Geometry. He regularly streams on both YouTube and Twitch in parallel, which is awesome. And he makes the most amazing creations live on stream, like these things here. This is a cape, corset, another corset. And he makes those in claw, and I thought, you know, I really love what he's doing. It's wonderful to see him do these things and learn as he does it. I'm not very good at Marvelous Designer, but I have it, and I absolutely love the software. And I thought it might be nice to convert some of these items for use with DAZ Studio, and then share them on my Ko-fi store for free, in the same spirit as Daniel does it. Gives his files away for free. If you're interested in this outfit, go to his Ko-fi page and just download it, play with it, and see what you can learn from the pattern. Also, buy him a coffee while you're there. So I've started yesterday converting this dress here off the stream. I've also started converting this corset here, which is great. I'm going to share that as well, but this is very high in geometry, so it's very difficult to do this on the stream because you click a button and you have to kind of wait 5 minutes because the geometry is about 1 million polygons, and you know, then you keep going. This dress here is a little bit lower in geometry, so I can show the workflow better. So this is kind of suitable to do on the stream. And yesterday, let me show you where we've got to yesterday. We've made some headroom. We've done a lot already, and today it's all about finishing it, finalizing it, and going in and hopefully wrapping it up as a shareable thing. So I'll show you the whole workflow. Miss Julia, wonderful to see you. We all have so many accounts. I like it. So let's bring in what we have. Dress V5. Let me know if the music is too loud or too quiet or whatever. I don't want anything to be disruptive. And also put your thinking caps on of what we want to call this dress. I mean, dress 1 that's not a good title, but there's other titles that we could use. For example, the 70s secretary chic. That was Brian's suggestion. I think that's kind of cool. It's a nice, interesting title. My favorite so far, because it has this retro look and it fits in with what we've had on the DAZ store recently. There was a bit of an invasion of retro-ness, so I'm thinking we can call it retro dress, but to denote that it's actually Daniel's work, I'm thinking we can call it Jet Set Retro Dress. I think that rolls off nicely off the tongue, and it would also keep in line with any of Daniel's items that I can convert for use in DAZ Studio. They can be called Jet Set something, like Jet Set Corset or something. You know, I think I like that because then, you know, it gives him the credit in the title. I'd like that. But let me know if you have other suggestions. We can totally make that happen. Let me go bring up my point of focus thing here so you can follow the cursor along a little bit easier. And let's start with a little bit of a puzzle that we're hopefully gonna solve together. Jet Set Verslusian. I like that. But what are we going to call the next item? You like that name, Jet Set Retro Dress. I think that we might call it that. So remember yesterday, just a quick refresher, we were looking at breasts a lot, which is awesome, which is why YouTube didn't think this video was suitable for advertisers. I asked them to review it because I still think it is. So if I go and dial in a morph that we've brought in yesterday, which I can't actually remember what it was. It was a hidden morph, I think. It is already hidden. The heavy morph, that's it. So the breast heavy morph, if I dial that in on the figure, there's also Mrs. Chow and all that, but the breasts heavy morph, look at that. If I go dial that in, the dress deforms with something that we've made inside Marvelous Design. And I did that by exporting the dress out and making the simulation in Marvelous Designer, bringing that file back and importing it with Morph Loader so that it looks much better than the what's it called, the auto-generated morph that DAZ Studio would normally apply on this. So I've gone ahead off the stream yesterday for an hour and exported all the other breast morphs out that would cause trouble. And I wanted to show you one other thing of when you bring in a morph, something that can happen. So I'm using the shape morphs here. So these are the ones, I haven't applied them to the dress yet. I've only simulated that in Marvelous Designer. And so look what happens. If I dial up a breast shape 1 morph now on the figure, then the dress currently doesn't know that that morph exists. And what happens is it really collapses that geometry here, and that doesn't look good. It's not going to be that big an issue if we're using dForce, which we're going to apply later. But this is easily avoidable by just simulating that in Marvelous Designer and bringing that back, and it'll look quite nice. And I've done that, and I thought, let's go and bring it in the way I did it yesterday, and that was by going Edit Object Morph Loader Pro, choose my morph files. Here they all are. These are all the overwritten bits and pieces that I've made yesterday. We've got the natural as well. We're going to bring that in, and there's all these breast shape morphs, and there's the breast size morph. So we're going to go bring all these in, but I wanted to show you something that can happen, and it does happen on this, and it's kind of an interesting one. You bring this in, you open one morph, you can open multiple if you like. Over here, it already has the same name that DAZ Studio knows it as, so PBM breast shape 01. And we said yesterday, let's go and add this reverse deformations here so that this is going to work. Unique, we're going to go into turn into deltas only, and then all we need to do is hit accept, and we're expecting that morph to be in there. The mouse approves. I do like that. There we go. Takes a second, and boom. So now if we go and dial that breast shape morph in, we expect the dress to fall exactly like the simulation in Marvelous Designer happens. But when we do, we find it does not. And somehow that's puzzling, because if I bring in the actual OBJ, I can tell you that it does fit that particular morph. So this doesn't have any textures on, so don't worry about that. I'll go and remove the dress that she's wearing and replace it with this one. And if I go and dial up that breast shape morph, we can see that, well, we can't see anything actually, but you can see that this fits, right? But the morph that I've added does not fit. So there's a trick to doing that. Chris already knows about it. That's quite nice. Let me go and remove this dress and bring her fitted dress back and see what we can do in order to avoid that. And this happens sometimes when the morph that you're simulating has not only deltas, as in it is a shape morph, it also has bone rotations applied. And it is, it's literally trial and error. You don't know what morph does what. So in the case of the breast shape morphs, they are both a delta, that means the vertices have been moved, but also some bone rotation has been applied. And those two things combined, if you bring in the morph like I just did, that isn't going to work. The DAZ Studio only looks at the deltas and not at the bone rotation. So what we need to do is essentially follow the same pattern, and you can leave this morph in place. We're just going to override what we have here. So it is under Edit Object Morph Loader Pro, and I'll go and bring the same morph in again. So that's the breast shape morph 1. and show you this so that you can all make notes. So the thing we did was we set this here, make unique to deltas only. And under reverse deformation, we set this to yes, but if you open this thing up, there's another thing here, and that says preserve existing deltas. And I think that needs to be on, off, I forgot. Whatever I did, it must be the other way around, I think. So let's try this then. I think it's reverse deformations yes, and preserve existing deltas also yes, I think. And deltas only also yes, right? Is that what we need to do, Chris? Is that true? Let's try it. Let's try it. If it isn't, we'll find out. Yes, look at that. That's what we had to do. So there we go. That tick box needed to be applied, and then that morph is going to work. So it's one of those interesting things that to keep in mind. If you bring in a morph and it doesn't quite work, then try the other way, and that might work. So essentially, bringing in a morph can work in two different ways. Just thought I'd let you know. And while we're on this subject, let's bring in the other breast shape morphs as well, since we know that is how they're supposed to be brought in. So I'm going to do the same thing now, but with multiple. Number 1 is already in here, but we're going to use number 2 to number 8. So you can select multiple. It's kind of nice. And then let DAZ Studio work out what needs to be done. There's another thing here. So technically I'd have to now go and open this up literally 8 times. But I think I can also save myself a preset, which I have never tried out. So let's try that. So I'm going to go and say deltas only. I need to have the reverse deformations on, and that tick box here needs to also be set to on. So let's see if we can go and save this as a preset. So I'll call it reverse as well as existing. Reverse existing deltas only. Let's see if that works. And that means I now have a little preset here that I can apply to all my morphs. So basically, because 2 is already set up, so 3 to all of these. I can't select multiple. That's a shame. I'll just have to go and do this to all of them. And hopefully, if I hit apply, I'll just go and do this while we have coffee and a chat. Cool, new plugin coming to DAZ Studio. What plugin is that, Callie? Tell us all about it. Good morning, and good morning, Sydney. How you doing, sir? So let's see if the other breast morphs are also working as expected. Number 2 is kind of working. Yes, absolutely. Number 3 is... that is still the other morph, isn't it? So that's not great. So number 3 we're going to have a look at. Number 4, same thing. Number 4 hasn't been brought in properly. Number 5 hasn't either. Why not? Dang, brother, that's cold. This is why we need to put dForce on this. Yeah, see, all these morphs, they're not actually kicking in right now. And I'm not entirely sure why that is. Sometimes it works when you fit the dress to none and then go back to fitting it to the figure. Parenting is not exactly necessary. Nope, they are not kicking in, and I don't know why. Maybe that preset thing hasn't worked. Let's go do this again. Because when I brought in a single one, that worked quite nicely. So maybe I'll just use no preset here. Don't know. Sometimes these things don't. I've never used presets before. Let's go do this one by one, shall we? So make unique. We're going to just do this one by one. Reverse yes, and this needs to also be set to yes. Next one here, deltas, reverse yes, and I think when this thing is closed, whatever is underneath it might not appear. Deltas. And that's yes. That's number 3. Number 4. Deltas. Yes. And also yes. A fabric thickener. That sounds exciting. I wonder what it does. I hope I can do this dForce thing I'm so glad, Chris, that you're here. I might need your help with that. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. But I suppose the dForce is good because, especially with so many body shapes out there, you can't really bring in all the different morphs that current figures have. So it's really nice to have something that inside DAZ Studio that just makes this happen. Let's just go try this again. See if this works. Yeah, that's what I thought. So let's see. Let's hope this works. Let's hope this works, Chris. And Michael, feel free to just switch your channel over. It'll be, you know, I think there's if you click on your icon on your logo and in YouTube, you can just go switch to the different channel again. That should do the trick. But if you're happy as Ilfmonger, we know you. We love you as both. It's fine. I see this has also not worked again. So this is bizarre. The first one has worked. The second one has not worked. I can't tell you why. Third one also isn't working. So this is kind of a puzzle. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. I can't tell you why. It's just, you know, I just fumble around and try again and again until it works. Let me go do this one by one. Maybe the multi thing didn't quite work. So this was shape 2 that we had an issue with. And shape 2, yeah, crazy. I don't really know why sometimes this works, sometimes this doesn't. There we go. Glad I could help. Breast shape 2, how are you doing now? No, same, no luck. Well, I'll tell you what, let's abandon the breast shape experiment then and replace it with dForce. Much easier anyway. Let's do that. There's two things I want to do. So first of all, I'd like to apply dForce then. And I'm glad we got the breast shape morph 1, but hey, it's one of those things. Maybe one by one with the morph dialed up. Oh, you think, Chris? Let's not give up so hastily. Let's do that. So okay, we'll dial this up. Okay, let's try that, Chris. That might be the way to go. Dial this up. Let's not give up so easily, because I know the setting is correct. So it's one of those things. So let's do that. Number 2 dialed up. See if shall we try the preset again? Will that work? Let's not even leave this for the second one. So that goes here and that's on yes. We say accept and geometry did not match. Oh, that's cool because I didn't import this to my dress. I tried to import this to the Genesis figure. So sorry, Genesis figure. Dang, brother, that's cold. Okay, preset the next time. Once we're sure this works. Chris, that's a very clever idea. I like that. Create control property. No, it was supposed to be reverse deformations. Yes. Make unique deltas. Yes. And that reverse deformation is already set to yes on the existing delta. So let's see. And yes, Chris is correct. That is absolutely correct. Well done, both of you. Very, very clever. Very clever. In that case, let's go and try this again with all the other shapes. Now that we're cooking and on a roll. Okay, let's go do this again. So it has to be one by one, and they have to be all dialed up, do they? Interesting. That's very interesting. So let's go do this on shape 3, which looks terrible here. But if we go bring in our morph, we'll have much successes. So that, and in this case, I might just try my preset because, you know, maybe that works. Let's see, shall we? Oh, morph already exists. No, cancel. Don't do that. Don't do that. So preset hasn't worked. Good to know. I've never tried out the preset, so let's forget the preset. It's probably some other magic that I'm not currently don't know about. So let's go deltas only. So overwrite that. And this should be set to yes. And this, very important, preserve existing deltas. See if it works. Geometry didn't match because I didn't select the dress. This is one of those days. I'm so glad I'm not alone doing this, because it's so easy to get completely crazy with this, especially have to do this 47 million times. Let's try this. And yes, pops right into place. I need more coffee. I think so too. Well, let's go through them one by one. Since we have 8, we're nearly halfway there. So this is number 4. Select the dress, because we've got the time. Number 4. Deltas, reverse. Let's see if this works. The option below should still be enabled. And does it? Yes, look at that. It works. So thank you so much for bringing that to my attention, Chris. I had no idea. That morph needs to actually be dialed up before you apply it to the dress. Otherwise, that's no good. Cool. This is really, I've got to say, this is really what I love about our get-togethers. I think we all learn from one another, and that just makes it so beautiful. Boom! All right, number 5. Number 6, please. Ding! Breast morph, number 6. Object Morph Loader Pro. Do you know, somebody asked me recently, what coffee do I drink? And I've said this before, I really like the Bustelo coffee. But I was wondering if you're a coffee drinker, a fellow passionate coffee drinker. Oh, what happened there? What coffee do you drink? Let me know. I always like trying new things out. This hasn't quite worked. Let's see if this is the actual morph that's dialed. This is definitely breast shape 6 up to 100%. Let's see. Maybe I've done something wrong here. That's possible. Number 6. Make it not unique, but do deltas only. Reverse deformations, yes. And existing deltas also on yes. Come on. Does this work? Does it? Does it? Buffalo. Nope, something's wrong with breast morph number 6. So I don't exactly know what that is. But that's okay. We can probably live without it. Or we just need to re-simulate it. I might do that actually. Let me go and re-simulate full body morph number 6. Something's obviously not quite right there. See if there's anything else dialed up. No, it's just number 6. So okay, let me go and save that out as that. I'll just overwrite this so that we have the correct name, and then we'll go and re-simulate this in Marvelous Designer quickly. I don't know if something went wrong. We can do that. Thickener plugin. Interesting. So it's not actually available yet. Ah, that's how it works. Thank you, DZ. That's how do I pronounce your name? Is it Dizeng? Perhaps Dizeng? Is that good? I hope it is. Thank you for the tip. I didn't know that. Yes, the preset thing. I've only just discovered it. I thought that makes my life a little bit easier, but I guess it didn't really. Not in this case. Let's see. What was our dress project again? Stream dress V4, that was it. Mr. Dragonate, he's up. Daniel sent me a nice message, by the way. Thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate that. He said he just wasn't up for the stream, and it's perfectly understandable. Daniel's in Arizona. I'm in Miami Beach. When it's 10 o'clock here, for Daniel, it's probably like Arizona. Is that Pacific or is that Mountain? It's either 7 or 8 in the morning, so I can totally appreciate that. You know, people aren't awake at that time. Alrighty, so let's go bring in morph target. Breast morph number 6. This is the one that's slightly larger than all the others because it contains the figure data. Morph target. Over 30 frames should be enough. Let's see what went wrong with that morph. Oop. Marvelous Designer hard at work. And while it's doing that, we can probably... Oh, it's already done. Perfect. That didn't take too long at all. You should see Daniel's computer, by the way. When he simulates things in CPU mode, it is absolutely super quick. So amazing computer that man has. There, let it settle down and go and export all of that as OBJ selected. And we're going to just overwrite this morph here. Replace No avatar, single object weld, thin, unified UV coordinates. And yes! Mr. Gorma is here. Hello! Top of the morning, sir. And Pugwash, welcome. You can, Pugwash, you can watch both at the same time. You can watch me from yesterday and me live today. I'm just adding some breast morphs to our dress. And it's kind of going okay-ish. Let's go try this again. This breast morph did not work previously. This is what it did, so I'm hoping that this is the correct simulation. Don't know what happened there yesterday. Maybe it's not going to work. That's also very possible. Let's try it out. No, what am I doing? No, don't do that, don't do that. Edit, Object, Morph Loader Pro. There, much better. And then we go and do this. And we go deltas. And we go reverse. And this is set to yes, I think. Unless breast morph 6 is one of those that does not require that. Let's just try this out. That could also be. So it might be that not all breast morphs are made like that. But look at that. This has worked. So don't know what went wrong with the simulation there yesterday. One of those things. Alrighty. Let's put that to 0 and 7 to on. 7 also has issues. And then we're nearly done. So I'd like to do, yes, dForce as I said, but I'd also like to have one further adjustment morph in the dress that makes it slightly wider at the bottom. We'll see why in a moment. So sometimes it's helpful to have adjustment morphs in addition to dForce. And what that means is that you can apply the dForce simulation, but then afterwards, when you're done, you can go and let the user make some more fine adjustments. So sometimes when the dress simulates close to the body, like in our case, when the legs are kind of slightly apart and the dress is kind of stretched around it, it might look a little bit too tight. So it's nice to have a little extra property that just makes that a little bit wider if you need it. But yeah, so that's what I'd like to do, and I think I might do that with Hexagon. But we'll do dForce first. We'll do the morphs first here. And once we're done that, we'll take a crack at dForce. Then we'll do that adjustment morph. And then hopefully we're going to go and make a nice, good looking render out of this. And then I'll upload it to my Ko-fi store. All in the matter of 2 hours. Really? Good luck with it. Hope it's going to work. Ah, yes, Morph Loader. It is one of those things that it has so many, it just has so many things in there, so many things and uses, so many tick boxes to be aware of. Let me see what the other things were that I saved out. I think there were 2 other morphs, and we'll find out if they need the additional deltas or not. OBJ's fit morphs. So we've done all these. There's heavy, natural, and size. Heavy, natural, and size. Let's see what my dress has. Does it have these things here? Heavy, so we need natural, and size. Let's try that. Currently used. So natural. Some squares, natural, okay. Let's go dial that up. I've simulated that as well because I could see the geometry kind of collapsing in on itself there. So let's do natural. And I will try this first without the additional deltas. Natural. Because I have a feeling this is just a morph. So I'll just use deltas, and I'm gonna use reverse deformations actually, but I'm gonna not use this here, preserve existing delta. So I'm gonna disable that like you do for normal morphs. I'm gonna try that. I have a feeling that's probably gonna work, but you know, we won't know until we try. So okay, this was also incorrect, so that should have been set. Okay, good. Excellent. It's a slow process, Callie. It's a slow process. Yes, reverse deformations, when you have a pose dialed in, existing deltas will say yes, and deltas only is enough to to just shift the vertices. Yes, look at that, and that has worked. So, now we know. What was the other thing that I said we needed? There was natural and there was heavy. Man, I've already forgotten. Should really make a list here. Size. Gotcha. Size. Breast size. There we go. Oh, ouch. Okay. Interesting. Goodie. Let's see what that does. And which setting we need for that. It's kind of always a surprise. Where's your money on breast size? What should we do? Additional deltas or no additional deltas? What do you think? I'll say deltas only. I'll say reverse. And additional or no additional? What do you think? Maverick, how you doing, sir? I'll try with enabled because that seemed to be like the breast theme here. Yes, look at that. It was correct. Perfect. All right. Enough with the breast morphs already. Let's go do some dForcing. All right. And also save my dress. Very important. Save scene as stream dress V6. Callie, I think we've made a decision. We're going to go and call this dress Jet Set Retro Dress. Jet Set Retro Dress. I think, well, that was it, right? I think that was it. And we're doing that because Jet Set is Daniel's monikers, and I'd like to have him a little bit. Yeah, I'd like for him to have a credit in, you know, what the clothing item is. So that'd be good. So the Jet Set something. Anything that Daniel's made is going to be the Jet Set something. Jet Set corset, Jet Set Christmas romper, Jet Set banana suit, whatever. So it's going to be the Jet Set Retro Dress. I'm thinking it's a good name. That is good to know, Maverick. Always good to know. The crab approves. I thought so too. But if we all have any other suggestions about Jet Set Retro Dress, so Jet Set definitely. If Retro Dress, if we can turn it into something like Brian said, secretary chic, that is also interesting. We could do that. We'll see. Let's keep our minds open. If you come up with funky titles, do let me know in the chat. Let's do dForce now on the dress. So this is actually fairly easy, but it's always good to put a little bit of thought into where you want dForce to be before you hastily apply it. So technically we could make the decision to say we have dForce only on the lower part of the dress if we wanted to make that happen. So I think we're probably going to have it a little bit further up because more issues with custom characters could deform the upper part of the dress. But since we have all these breast morphs now, there's a good chance that the top part of the dress is going to work fine, and we only need to fix the bottom part of the dress. But you know, it's kind of a decision that you have to make early in the process, up to where you want dForce to be. You could say it'll start literally here and go down, so the bottom part is going to be dForce, but the top part is just conforming only. And you can make that happen with a weight map or with the surface properties that you add certain properties with dForce and others do not have dForce. That's possible. So that's one thing. The other thing that you should think about is, and I've seen this on Chris's streams many times, is that if anything intersects with one another, you stand a good chance that dForce isn't going to work. So in our case, if we have a pose that isn't gonna cause trouble, we'll say it's fine. I'll just stick with the adventure poses again, like I did yesterday, like with this pose here, for example. This now means her hands don't touch the dress, and that's probably going to be okay. But other parts of the geometry might intersect with one another. I'm thinking pockets, seams, all those types of things, and they may cause problems. So in our case, the pose is probably going to be okay, but if I add a pose in which the hands are a little bit too close to the body, like this would be one that stands a good chance of causing an explosion because her hand is intersecting with her body. And so anything in which some parts of the figure are intersecting with the item you're dForcing, that might cause a problem. So in that case, it's easy to just move the arm, do the do the dForce simulation, then bring the arm back where it needs to be. So that's a possibility. But there's other issues, like in our case, I envision we may have trouble with geometry on the dress that is intersecting with itself already. And things like the zipper, for example. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I have a feeling that the zipper, the pull handle, is intersecting with the rest of the geometry here, and that might cause a problem. If we apply dForce to everything and we then start simulating it, we might end up with one of such issues, so careful with that. So in that case, let's go and just try this pose and simulate it in a moment. First of all, I need to get my dress ready though. That's number one. So maybe I'll go and do that Control-Shift-F. That'll restore my figure to this. And let's go and apply a little bit of dForce here. So with my dress selected, on the simulations settings tab, wherever that is, where you have it, head over to this little context icon. That's the only way I know how to do it. Maybe there's other options, but hey, this here, and you head over to dForce and add a dForce modified dynamic surface to the dress. And what that'll do is it'll go through every surface property that the dress has and add another tab at the bottom. That's called the simulation tab. So currently I haven't done that yet. So under dress, under surfaces, you'll see that these are all the surfaces that we've had here. And I'll just pick the dress fabric kind of randomly here. And you can see that there is all these channels that the Iray Übershader brings with it, and it ends with geometry. That's the last thing it has here. But if I go and select all of them now and head over back to my simulation settings here, and go to dForce, add dynamic surface, then another property is added to all these channels, and that is the simulation property on the surfaces tab. And this is where you can set all kinds of bits and pieces as to how much friction the dress has and how much buckling is in there, and all those types of things that we know from cloth engines that we find rather scary, and we'd rather leave it on the default because we don't really know what they mean. But that is where you could make that adjustment. So with all these things on, you can also disable them on certain parts of your dress immediately. So if I don't want my zipper and my pull handle to be involved in the simulation, for example, I can go and go here and say visible in simulation, so I can turn that right off and essentially on this surface remove the simulation properties if I wanted to do that. That's one way of doing it. The other way is using a dForce weight node, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to turn this back on. It doesn't matter if we switch it on or off. I think maybe the whole zipper, you can also search for it if you want to do it on multiple properties at once. Visible in simulation, you can just turn that off on anything that has to do with the zipper or any parts of your object that you don't want to participate in the simulation. Alrighty, so I'll do the weight map thing because Chris likes doing that. I like doing that, and that is under. Actually, we can try and simulate it first of all as it is. So with everything basically having 100% dForce there, we could do that. Let's try that. In fact, let's try that. That might cause explosions. It might work if I go and do this. Let's see if it works. So if you're lucky, this might already work, but this also might cause explosions, so, you know. Let's see what happens. Oh, Pugwash, you can do that directly in DAZ Studio. You don't have to export and re-import. You can... Oh yeah, look at that. This isn't going to work so well. There's something happening that's not quite so good. That zipper's not behaving as we like it. Uncool. But hey, no explosions so far. That's cool. Yes, Pugwatch, you can literally go and do that inside the geometry editor in DAZ Studio if you're ever in the situation where you don't want to export and import it again. You can literally... Oh, actually, Gorma just told you that, right? Exactly. Christian just told you that. That's the spirit. So no explosions. That's a good sign, but it's also not quite the result we're looking for. So... next, let's go clear and let's go restore the figure again. and have a look at that dForce modifier weight node. So that's basically gonna give us the option to have a map on the dress that dictates which parts should deform in dForce and which parts should not. So with my dress selected, I'll head over here to create somewhere dForce modifier weight node. That's what we need, and that creates one item on the dress object, and that's then going to be the one that I can paint. I'll just go leave the defaults in place. That parents itself to here, dForce modifier weight node, and that will only be visible when I go ahead and go over to my weight brush tool and head over to tool settings. And even now I can't see anything because we don't have a map yet, so we need to add one for the general weights. And then we see that the whole dress is red, and red means that everything will be influenced, and we can now make a decision as to what we maybe want that not to happen. So let me try my original idea and just dForce the lower part, and then we can go and expand that to the upper part. So this is a little bit complex, so I thought that's why it's nice that we go through it at least a couple of times, so that you get kind of the gist of it. I'm going to go into my front view and draw a rectangle around the bottom here, a rectangle as a selection. And now I'm in the weight map brush option tool thing. So I need to go switch over to my geometry editor and then change my selection mode here to marquee selection, and then just go and drag a marquee out like this. I hope you can see that. That will now select this geometry on the bottom part of the dress. And that's all I needed to do with the geometry editor, just so that I can make that selection here. And I'll go back over to this little guy, and I'm making sure that the top part, the stuff that I haven't selected, is going to be painted out. So I don't have to do that way. I don't have to paint the polygons out. I can just go and reverse my selection quickly. So it's geometry selection invert. Now I'm selecting essentially everything else, and I'll go over here to weight map editing fill selected with 0, and that means this is now painted out. So it's kind of cool. So now I'll go and revert my selection again, invert selection, and go make sure this part here is smoothed out. And that's another tool, so that from painted in to non-painted in isn't quite so strong. I can go and right click and say weight editing smooth selected, and I'm gonna choose smooth factor 50% and iterations 40, and that should do a little bit. I might do it again just to smooth it out a little bit more. Takes a second, and come on, is that good? Can't tell. Let's go and select a clear selection. So this is essentially where our deforcing starts now. So that means all the top part here with the zipper and stuff that caused issues, hopefully isn't going to cause an issue anymore. So let's go and try adding that pose again. Like so. Simulation. Let's go and simulate, see what happens. Popeye, good to see you. Do you know, yes, Pugwash, we're going to come to that in a moment as well. There's plenty of ways that you can select things. Like what we'll probably see now is that the pockets, they might buckle a little bit too much, so they behave like the rest of the cloth. But in real life, if they were pockets, they're probably a little bit stiffer. So I'll say we select those specifically and make sure they're staying a little bit stiffer than the rest. But so for now, we can see that the top part is already behaving much better. I like that. So there's no more zipper issues. And thankfully, we don't have problems with the breast area because we have all the adjustment morphs. But not everyone might be so lucky. So I can still see that there's a little bit of stretching going on here. So I might actually go and take the whole selection a little bit further up. So we'll try and do this again, and then we'll make some refinements on the weight map, I'm thinking. But so far so good. This is kind of nice. It looks all right. at the bottom. And this is where I'd like that extra adjustment morph, that we now give the user the option to make the dress just a tiny bit, just a smidge slightly wider. So we'll work on that. Again, there's also this here. I think this deforms as well. That probably shouldn't do that. So we'll make sure that we'll amend the weight map, that we select the pocket area and also the zipper area, and make sure that can't stretch, or can't stretch quite so much. So I think it should still, we shouldn't paint it out completely, but we should make sure it's you know, not quite as painted as it currently is. Alrighty, clear. Control Shift F to reset my figure, and let's have another crack at this. I don't know if there's a way to reselect your selection. So we may have to just go and do this all again. But yeah, we're gonna make some use of all these little face groups that we have here, actually in the dress now. There we go. Face groups and surfaces. So we'll make good use of making sure we can select the correct items. So first of all, I think I'm gonna go start with the same thing that I did before that. So in the front view, I'll go and marquee select myself the bottom part here again, and that will select the top and the front and the back as well, which is nice. And now I'm going to go and expand my selection upwards, and there's a menu for that under geometry selection, grow selection, but that'll be tedious to press that every time. You can also go and Control Shift and the plus sign, and that will select more of your polygons, like so. See where the back is and where the front is. I don't want to grow it more with this option now, because it'll encroach on the whole zipper area. So I think I might go and add some more manual paint now. Don't know if the texture is in the way. We can go and do this. This makes it a little bit easier to see perhaps. I'll go to geometry selection mode. There it is, not marquee. I'm going to go and drag selection now. Make my draw radius a little bit bigger, maybe 20, and then I'll go and hold Control as I draw the upper part in. Like so, maybe. Whoops. Maybe a little bit bigger. I don't necessarily want the collar to move as well, so I'll leave that out. I'm happy for this to move as well. And then of course the back. I'm happy for this to stretch a little bit. So anything that I'm painting in now will be part of the dForce simulation. I could try the back. I think I'm okay without the back. I think I'm gonna leave this as it is. Some bits I've missed here. Selection sets. This is where selection sets do come in handy. So if you had a lot of work making this happen, you can go and you can save that essentially as Photoshop would do. You can save this as a selection set over here. Sometimes that's quite nice. So I might just do that in case I mess it up. At least it's kind of, you know, it's there still. And let's call it weight map base. And then I can go and refine it from here. So currently this is just the geometry selection, but if I wanted to go and turn that into weight map, I have to go back to my weight map tool and select my dForce modifier weight map, and then I'll go and make sure all of this is filled in with red. So currently only the bottom part is filled in, the top part is still white. So I'll go right click and say weight editing fill selected, and I'm going to fill that all to maybe 100%. There we go, that's done that. And now I should do a bit of smoothing so that this from here to there isn't quite as strong anymore. Editing, smooth selected. Takes a moment, and then we can see it's turning a little bit blue here. That's awesome. Let's do this again. There, now it's nice and smooth. But the zipper is still part of our selection. So as I said, we probably want the zipper to, much like the pockets, we want that to be a little bit stiffer. So as such, the whole zipper part also needs to be amended so that it's painted out a little bit, not entirely, but a little bit. And for that, we can just use our geometry selection by face groups and all that again. So that's kind of cool. Let me go and first of all, clear everything out. So clear selection. We can see our weight map a little bit better. And now I can use this feature that is select by. And because I've forgotten what is what, let me go back to the geometry editor and see what is what here. So that's probably under the surfaces group. I also have the face groups. That's the stuff that came in from the Genesis figure. So all the face groups that are defined on the Genesis figure have been transferred over to the dress, so that can come in handy sometimes. I also have the regions. The regions is a similar thing, that most of these things aren't actually active. But I've also got my surfaces here, so I can see that this is the collar part and the pockets. That's the stuff that I don't want to have inside my selection, so that's kind of cool. I can go and click this plus icon to make it a selection. So now it's turned slightly orange here, but it's not all of it. So I want the zipper inner part as well. I'd like to add that to that as well. And this was the zipper, so I'll go and just hit the plus icon to add that to the selection. And then there's also the inner lining, I believe. That's another part here. So I'll hit the plus icon to go and add that to the selection. So there's all the parts literally that I'd like to be a little bit stiffer. And then one other thing, that's the bits and pieces here. That's the pocket embellishments. I'll add that to the selection as well. There we go. So those are all the things that I've now turned into a selection. But it is not... The weight map doesn't know about this yet. So now that I've selected it, I go back into my weight map selection tool, and I'll go into geometry editing, and I'll give all these selected pieces a particular weight. So right click anywhere on there and say weight editing, fill selected, and I can go and tell it what value that should have. So 100 would be 100% red, 0 would be gray. So 0 means no influence, red means 100% influence. I'd like for them to have maybe still an influence, but I don't want them to be 0. So I might try maybe 25. Let's try that. Let's try that. And perhaps also smooth that a little bit. Could do smoothing. Shall we do smoothing? I don't know. What I do want to do, while I think about it, is that selection was a little bit difficult for me to make. So I'm going to go and add that as a selection set here. So I've got the weight map base, and I've got this thing here. It's going to be another selection set that's just for my benefit in case I need to reselect it or I need to amend it. And that's going to be, I'll call it the embellishments, or the stiffer part, stiff stuff. How about that? It's the stiff stuff. There we go. Stiffer stuff, stiff stuff. That's good. So if I ever need to reselect this, I can do that. That's the only reason why I'm doing it. It's kind of my own benefit here. It's the stiff stuff. Alrighty, so let's go and see how that behaves in a simulation. If we bring this back and I might actually also save this before anything untoward happens. Stream dress 7. Every time I find I've made some kind of a little achievement, I like to press the save button just in case. I don't know, Kelly. Possible. Let's find out, shall we? Grab pose, check. Frame up, simulation settings, simulate. See what happens. Thinking about it. Could go horribly wrong. Yes, you're right. I should have probably all the painted in parts, the top part of the collar and the zipper. You're right. They now have weight, don't they? They shouldn't actually have weight. I should have made sure that doesn't happen. Also, yes, what the other thing I didn't quite think about is that this material, the lining, is actually on the inside of the skirt as well, and that was not good. So yeah, that's obviously not what we want. Cancel, quit. Oh my god. Boom. Good thinking, Callie. Shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't have done that. So that's a possibility that is what caused it. The endless adventures. Chris knows all about it. Oh snap, indeed. Well, we can always sell it as an NFT, I guess. Or quickly clear and pretend this never happened. Control-Shift-F. And try first of all, so there's two issues here. The one thing I had completely overlooked is that the brown bit here, this is part of the selection. So the zipper part and all that, that is all part of the selection. And I'm so glad that I have saved my selection set, so I can just go back to my tool settings and under, well, with the dress selected probably, I can go and reselect my stiff stuff now. It's already selected. That's cool. And I can go and make sure that the whole top part of it is unselected. That's kind of important, isn't it? And let's go and do this from the front. Let's do it properly. And just make sure that all this is now not part of it. Let me go select, use my marquee selection here, and make sure we take all of this out of the equation. So this is now my selection, and I can go and paint that out of this. So I'm gonna have to repaint a few parts of my previous selection map here, or I can just go do this the old-fashioned way and just paint it in. I might do that actually. I might paint the selection in and then just remove that deliberately. Let me do that. So first of all, go and clear selection and go back to this tool here. Go to this so I can see it a little bit better, and I'll head over to selection mode, drag selection, and I'll go and just paint everything in that I don't want to participate in the simulation at all. I might remove my figure here just so that I get all the parts of the collar here on the inside and the outside. There's also some parts of the back here that I'm adding to that. Don't know if I want that or not. I'm more concerned about the inside of the collar bit at the moment. And it's less the collar than it is the zipper. So this must be absolutely unselected. The collar we can probably live with if it is selected. These parts are now also selected. This is interesting. Which means I think I need to just quickly switch my modifier keys. I've set it up so that my Alt key actually rotates rather than unpaints. So I need to just make that little change here. Under Customize. And I'll put it back to the default modifier. So orbit is going to be Control Alt left click, and then pan is Control Alt right click. Nope, sorry. There. Oh no, that's not it. Actually, this is. Was it? No, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that's the. Dude. There, that's it. And then orbit is that. I think that is what it is by default. Just so this now means it frees up my alt key, so I can unpaint this. Aha! There we go. We're happy with this. Ish. I can remove that now from my weight map. At least I'm gonna try. Whoops! Oh man, there. Change your modifier keys. You're screwed. Terrible. So back to the weight map and go and make sure all this is now painted in with 0, essentially. With my, yes, I'm doing the correct thing here. Editing, fill selected with 0. There. Let's try again. Let's try again. With this, with the figure, with a pose, with none of these things selected. With my favorite pose, there we go. And fingers crossed. Jay broke everything. How exciting. Right. Real life, real world sewing knowledge is actually very important to have in Marvelous Designer. Oh, I forgot the bottom part of the dress. I totally forgot that. We need to take care of that. This is usually a clue when dForce kind of pauses like this. It usually is thinking about exploding things, so it could well completely go wrong. And I might well start completely from scratch as well. That's also possible, that I might just go and do the whole thing again in a much simpler fashion. I might do that. Yeah, usually when it takes so long, this first of all, it's not a good user experience if you do something that requires dForce to think so much, but it's also very likely that it's already thinking about exploding something, so careful. We might see another explosion in a minute. It's so fun. Yes, there we go, perfect, it's exploded. Dang, brother, that's cool. We're going to start from scratch. I'm just going to do the bottom part and be done with it. It's going to be very, very simple. I might expand the selection up a little bit, but I'm going to keep it extremely simple. As soon as, things come back to life. Yes, that would be a good idea to say, hey, obviously, there's got to be an algorithm that can detect if this is about to happen and then not actually show it, just come up with an error message to say, look, I'm not going to calculate any further. But no. It's also, dForce is not alone. Marvelous Designer also tends to do this on certain items. And yeah, so I don't really know what happened there. I'm gonna go and start again with the whole dForce weight node. I'm gonna go and do exactly what I did before, and start literally with the selection around the bottom, and then we'll go and grow this, and then we're gonna go and subtract things from it, like the zipper, and maybe make a little paint adjustment on the other zipper pieces here. So this is back to the geometry editor. I'll go and use my selection mode marquee again. Take the bottom part in and go and see where that growth will take me. So I'll try to take the breast area in as well. Oops. Maybe like so. Oops. Modifier keys that are not set up the way I've usually set them up. That always freaks me out a little bit. So I'll go and add a little bit more around here. Oops, that's the wrong selection mode. Selection mode, drag selection. It's also quite nice to do this. I find this quite relaxing. It's a bit like a painting by numbers game. Bit at the back. Bit at the front. This is what always fascinates me as well, is that the actual principle of setting this up isn't that big a deal, but then when it comes to making it work properly, that is then, you know, that's where the issues really start. Alrighty, that's that. The inside bottom part I might deal with later. I might leave that as it is for now, because it's painted on, or it will be in a moment. Like that. So I'm gonna go and fill the whole thing in now. Weight editing, fill selected with 100%. So that makes everything red. We still have that nice little, that smooth transition, but I have to redo it really. So I'll go and invert the selection. Invert, fill the top part with 0. There we go, so that isn't included. And then I'll go and invert it again. And now I'm going to go and smooth this part. Smooth selected. I might do that twice. Smooth selected, there we go. All right. So then the only thing that we didn't like so much is that this middle part might be bending a bit too much. So I might just go and just paint this bit out. I might, the pockets, I'm not sure, the pockets, I might paint out the pockets a little bit. But yeah, let's see how it goes. So a clear selection. Go back to the geometry editor. I just choose maybe a little bit of a smaller brush here. Just paint this area. I want this to be a little bit stiffer. That's all we're doing essentially. This and the pockets. It doesn't have to be super accurate either. Not even the pocket flaps, just the bottom pocket parts here. And also not by much either. I might just give it 50%. It might be barely noticeable. It might also be completely pointless, but let's try it, shall we? Let's try it. So all of this, that's going to be filled with something less. So currently it's filled with that. I might add it as a selection set, just for my benefit, in case I ever need to reselect that. And I'll call it maybe Stiff Stuff V2. How's that? At least I know what it means. That's all that counts. So we'll go and fill this with something, something maybe like 40%, 40%, and we'll smooth this as well. Smooth there, maybe just once, and I think that should be that. If it doesn't explode now, I think we're good. If it does, well, that'll be a shame. But let's just think positive and say, no, 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 no. It's gonna work this time. It's gonna work this time. I'll oversave this as well. Good point. I wouldn't do that either, Pugwash, to be really honest. I think if I was to do this properly, and I'm really not at that point at all, I wouldn't use the UVs from the materials from Marvelous Designer at all. I wouldn't do that. The Marvelous Designer materials, the problem in Marvelous Designer is literally the fact that the UV packing algorithm isn't great. And that means that that when you do the UV mapping, there's a lot of wasted space there in Marvelous Designer, and I don't really particularly like that. So what I would do is take the dress from Marvelous Designer, do a basic UV mapping with the algorithm that's currently there, then take the dress into Blender and probably redo the material zones. It has also better selection tools that you can then say and define certain areas that you already know in the making of the weight maps and the materials that are more beneficial, and you can just go and make sure they happen at that point and are defined as material zones and named properly, and then I would do the materials in Substance probably. That is kind of what I would do. So although the materials that come out of Marvelous Designer are great, the way it does UVs are not so cool. So I'm hoping that's something that'll be revised in upcoming versions. So I'd like for there to be a better packing algorithm, but currently we don't have it. So let's keep our fingers crossed that in the forthcoming versions that is something that they'll address. So currently we can only take all the UVs and then say pack into the 0 to 1 space, and depending on how they're arranged, they're just going to be made smaller so that they all fit in there. But you have to do a lot of manual tinkering to make that, you know, more efficient. So it's one of those things. Do you know, good point. I don't remember. That's a good point. Shall we have a look? Zipper, but yes, it's still off. It's still off, actually. Good point. They're still off, so there was no real need to worry so much about the zipper. So yeah, this middle part here, that is still stretching too much for my liking. So I might just set that to a lower number. Let's do that. We'll set that to a lower number, at least the middle part. The pockets might do that as well. And then we'll have one more crack at it. And then we'll go do the adjustment morph, and then we'll go pack this thing up. That's important as well. Go kaboom. Control, whoop, yeah, exactly. That's. There's also the other thing I wanted to address. I don't know if we have time for this today, but how we can make it so. I think Mugler was asking this question yesterday when we do this. While we're talking about weight painting, what can we do that this its default shape doesn't look quite so bad? So this is also a weight painting thing that we can apply with smoothing. So if we have time, we'll do that. We might not get there, but I will explain that in another stream. So let's just go and reselect the stiff stuff. Oh, it's already still selected. That's cool. So let's make that less. Let's make that even less. What did we put that in? 40%. So let's go make that maybe 10. Let's try 10. I don't know if 10 is gonna work. It's already smoothed out a bit, so let's leave it there. I don't want to spend too much time on this. Just it's more about the principle and about having something that's usable. Simulate. Come on. Ah, right. So you spend a lot of time manually placing the patterns in the editor, Chris. Is that what you do? Let's pay close attention to the middle part here. I just like for that to not split open, because that's something that wouldn't really happen in real life. And it looks like, but oh no, there it goes. It's still splitting up a little bit, but not too much. So I think I might just live with that. If dForce is happy with the rest, I'm not happy with the thinking. I don't like it when it thinks that much. Is an undo? We did save it before, didn't we? Boom! Okay. forget about that then. It'll just split and we'll just have to live with it. How's that for an idea? dForce is not your friend. Well, since I'm going to revert back to the previous version that I had here, don't save this. Maybe I can show you the, let's say we're done with dForce now, because I don't know what else to do, to be really honest. Let me show you, Moogla, let me show you how to get rid of these artifacts in the weight map here. So it's also got to do with the weight map tool, and it also has to do with making selections on the dress. But in this case, we're not talking about the dForce Modifier Weight Node selection. This time we're talking about parts of the body. So ignore this and let's see where we can go and basically drill down from here and have a look what parts are influencing these parts of the dress. And to do that, we can go back to our weight map tool under tool settings, and you'll see that when you select the top part of the dress, you don't have any maps here. But when you go down, you'll see that maps will appear here. So like this is the hip area. If I select that, the hips are not painted in, there's nothing, this is all gray. But if I go into the pelvis area, then I can see what part of this weight map for this pelvis area is affecting the part of the dress. And then when you go further in there, so this is abdomen, upper, lower, so this is not really what we're concerned with, but under pelvis there's like the thigh, left and right, and that was the pelvis. So if we're thinking maybe the left part of the thigh area, if we either smooth this map out a little bit, that might help, both the left and the right. There's also the shin, so I suppose it's the shin that we could smooth out as well. Anything else? Yeah, so the left thigh twist and the left thigh bend. Let's see what happens if we just smooth these areas of the weight map out. So to select them, you can probably just go and find that in one of the face groups. So if you head over to selection, select by, and then we go face group, and we know that the left thigh bend and the thigh twist are an issue. So we just select L thigh down here. That'll just create ourselves a selection group like here. And that's something we can try to smooth. Just with weight editing smooth selected. Let's see if it works and see what happens once it's done. It might not actually do anything. Yeah, there we go. So that's already smoothed this out a little bit. I might do this again. Editing and smooth selected. Just make that a bit of a better gradient. And I'll try this on this map as well, the left thigh twist. Let's go and smooth that out as well. So there's editing, smooth selected. See if that makes it better. And then we do the same on the right hand side, and then hopefully it's not quite as strong. So yeah, this didn't do quite that much, but you know, it's a start. It's a start. So we'll do the same thing now with the right thigh bend. So first of all, select that again. Selection, select by, face groups, and this is now the R thigh. Oh, actually we need to deselect first. Duh. Clear selection. Now select again. So select by, face groups, R thigh. There we go, and then we can go and try to smooth that a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. And then also the thigh twist, that we did that on the other side. So let's go and do that here too. And that looks still not fantastic, but you know, you can see how you can work yourself through the weight. So I might also use the pelvis map and smooth that out a bit to get that kink out here. So that was the pelvis influence area. Let's go and do that one more time. Let's see if we can find the select by. There's kind of the hip area here. Hip might well work. I'm kind of hoping there's something else that we can select here. Now we can grow that, so that's another possibility. We can grow that section and smooth that out a bit on the pelvis. So smooth selected. That's kind of your friend. See if it works. Thinking about it, always good. Pugwash, they don't have anything to do with dForce. It just means that when you initially place the dress into position, it looks a little bit better than having these really harsh edges there that we had there before. Yeah, so I think I might have overdone it here a little bit. Might go back a bit. I might just leave it like this. So it's, you know, I don't want to spend too much time on it. I just wanted to show you where that is. If you wanted to have the initial position balance out a little bit, then this is how you could do it. And you literally have to work your way through all these things, and you know, make sure it looks neat and nice. So let's just see if this now works in principle. And even if it doesn't work great, it's a start. I just want to make sure it doesn't explode, and then we'll go and wrap it up, and then I can go and package this product up, because there's a lot of other stuff that we need to do with that. I just wanted to make sure we get that all done, that you at least have some basic thing that you can go and work with at home and try it out. Well, bye. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Callie. I'll see you on Chris's stream. So it kind of works. It's not as great as I wanted it to be. And I suppose another thing we could have done is literally don't worry about the upper part of the dress and just make the skirt bit dForce. That would probably be the easiest thing to do. I think, considering that I have so many breast morphs in there, I might actually do that instead. I'm not really happy with how this zipper type thing splits, so I might just go and just do this whole thing again and just use the bottom part of the dress. Add that adjustment morph as well and make the skirt a little bit wider at the bottom. I think I feel, whoops, I feel better about that. Yeah, I'm really not a fan of what this does in the middle, and it looks like I don't know how to do this, so I might just go and just do it differently. Yeah, I might just do that. I might just rely on just the bottom part being deforceable. I'm thinking, what do you think? I'd feel better about that, because this doesn't look good. So I'm not a big fan of doing it this way. Yeah, I might give it one more go. We do have the time. It's cool, we have the time. Yeah, I'm just gonna make this part here deforceable, just the skirt part. Yeah, I really don't like the zipper part. I've gotta be brutally honest. Yeah, just the skirt part. We'll do that. We'll do that instead. My final offer. Front view, geometry editor, and this can stay selected. Selection mode, marquee, just the bottom bit, just this. That's going to be our dForce bit and nothing else. I like it. I like it. That's how we're going to do it. So this will fill that with 100%. And the pockets, yeah, well, you know, the pockets, they're just the pockets, aren't they? So sorry about that, pockets. Geometry selection, invert, fill with nothing, invert again, smooth this out. Editing smooth. And we might do it twice because we like it so much. Alrighty. dForce done in 2 minutes. Awesome. Should have done that to begin with. and go simulate. That is hopefully going to look a lot better on the zipper. And the breast area, hey, we've got 8 shaping morphs and 2 size morphs. It should be okay. It should be okay. If it isn't, you now know what you need to do. Yeah, it's a shame about the pockets, but I suppose, you know, that wasn't part of the design process. I suppose if you wanted to have a better result, you probably put the pockets on the sides instead, or you put them on the back, leave them off at all. But one of those things. There, perfect. And also the other thing that I've noticed is that with less of the dress to dForce, it just looks a lot better. So some of this is still stretching out, but I suppose that is literally just part of the fitting process. So we'll just leave it as it is. I don't see any nasty artifacts on the bottom, so I think the simpler approach actually did us a favor. So let's go add that adjustment morph that we can make the skirt a little bit wider so that you can add that if the scene requires it. Clear that. Also save my scene, very important. I'll just oversave what I just had there. Yes, indeed, it's thinking nicely. That's what I'm thinking as well. Sometimes it's also all part of the user experience. You could spend a lot of time setting this up, and then the user has a lot of a bad time to make it work with their poses. Or you can just do something really simple and just get it out there. I think that's sometimes equally important to delivering a really good product. This is a freebie after all, don't forget. It's not going to be ending up on the store for 30 bucks or so. It's just a little freebie. So let's go and put my woman and my dress together into hexagon and make that skirt a little bit wider and just have that. We also need to rename that other adjustment morph, the skirt longer. So I'll put them into a folder. That's also important. Anyone got a dress? Yes, there's a dress. Good stuff. Good stuff. So the selection, last time I had a bit of a problem selecting these things. I might just do this with the marquee selection now. Just down here. Oh, sorry, I need to select the dress first. Otherwise, poor Hexagon doesn't know. Oh, what do you want me to do? No? Hexagon doesn't want me to do the marquee selection. Now, why not? What's the matter with you? Oh, there. I was on object selection accidentally, not on polygon selection. So that selects that. Then we go into soft selection and maybe make that, turn that all the way down to something like here. That's what I'd like to go and make a little bit wider. And also not massively. It's mainly this direction here. Wider a little bit this way, and then wider a little bit that way. Could probably just do this here, that and that. And then dForce will sort out the rest. I'm not sure if I'm happy with the back. Yeah. Yeah, maybe just like that. It's just a skosh just a skosh, just so that that once you've done the deforcing, that you can just lift the dress out in all directions just a little bit. It's just supposed to be literally that little bit. I think I'm already happy with that. Send back to DAZ Studio, and let's call it skirt width. I'm thinking, rather than just morph, we'll call it skirt width, like so. Done. Ah yes, so instead of this, also rather than saying it dress main, we're going to call that jet set retro dress. Gonna keep the branding going on, and then in here under morphs we now have, oh yeah, there's these two poses here. Those are the ones that we brought in yesterday just to demonstrate how you can do something, how you can simulate something, win a pose in Marvelous Design and bring it back. But I don't think for distribution, I don't think that's relevant, so I'll go and remove those here in edit mode. This guy and that guy, because that's just going to confuse people, so I'm going to go delete these properties. These are all the hidden morphs. They can stay in here, but skirt length and skirt width I might just go and don't need to be in edit mode anymore. I might just go and call this skirt length and give the name a very unique name. So I'll say our prefix could be, I think there's a formula for that, but I've forgotten what it is. So I'm just going to say JS retro dress, JSRD. That's a good prefix. Let's do that. Skirt length, and we have no here, and then skirt width. We'll do the same thing here. Jet set retro dress. We don't want this to go into the negative, and we don't want percent either, just so that we have this now. Yeah, perfect. This is exactly that little bit of adjustment that I was thinking is a good idea. So you can play with that. Jet set pocket dress. That's not a bad call. Jet set retro pocket dress. Jet set pocket dress. But then the pockets aren't that functional. Jet set pocket dress or jet set retro dress? Which one do you prefer? You know, I could actually go and put a poll out for you guys, and then you can let me know what you think. How's that? Let's do that. So what shall we call the dress? And we can say either jet set retro dress, or we can say the jet set pocket dress, or we can even add another option and say jet set retro pocket dress. So many options. Ask your community. Let me know what you think, and let me know what you think the dress should be called, while I go and wrap things up into a product here. We've got skirt length. These are also currently in morph loader and morphs. I don't think we want that. These hidden morphs, they can stay in there, so I'm gonna just go and rename these guys into, so rather than this being morphs morph loader, we'll call them just adjustments. I think that'll be good. Then there's a new folder that's being created here called adjustments, and that's where my things will go in, so that we leave the morph loader folder behind. And this one's hidden now anyway, so all these things are hidden. This is hidden. That's cool. We're not gonna see hidden really. So all we see now is the adjustments, and that's where these two parameters are in. So that's kind of nice. I like that. I like that. Jet set retro dress is battling it out with the retro pocket dress. We've got a 50-50 poll going. Oh wow, exciting. See what happens. I'm excited. bow pocket dress. Actually, Daniel has another dress. I'm going to call that the bow dress. It's this one here. This one here. I think that's a proper bow dress. I think this would be good to call that a bow dress. So in that respect, I like the idea of either this being the retro or the pocket dress. So, you know, yeah, I like for this the bow back or the back bow dress. Maybe we'll talk about this in another stream, maybe on Twitch, to make that dress happen. So we have saved our scene, but we haven't actually saved our dress yet. So currently the retro pocket dress is in favor here. It's in the lead in the poll. Yes, so let's do that then. The retro pocket dress is winning. So let's call it the Jet Set retro pocket dress. Rather retro, not pocket, but retro pocket. Let's do that. So it's the retro pocket dress. Thank you so much for your votes. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Poll complete with 8 votes. I like it. Thank you, everyone who's voted. So this is important now because when I save this dress, it'll be saved as that. So I'm going to go and put this name in here, Jet Set Retro Pocket Dress, and I'll go into my folder here. I suppose, can I rename that? Yes, so it needs to be, rather than stream dress, it needs to be called the Jet Set Epic. Thank you, that's not really necessary. Jet Set Retro Pocket Dress, because we need to make a little promo render for this as well. Let's not forget retro pocket dress. And so in here I'll go and save this now as no, I can't save it from here. It has to be from file. Oh good, streams disappeared. Hey, that's not good. Oh, streams back. Oh good. Save as support asset, figure prop asset. And it'll be in the folder that I thought I had just selected, but I guess I haven't. So it's in Daniel, in stream dress product, and it needs to go into people, Genesis 8, clothing, Jet Set Retro Pocket Dress. And this is it, the Jet Set Retro Pocket Dress. Now, item name is actually not item name, it's the Jet Set Retro Pocket Dress. Vendor name users, what? No, it's me, isn't it? Dang, brother, that's cool. Product name, item name. It's in here. Asset directory is correct. It's not a follower, it's actually, it is wardrobe dress. That's what it is. Didn't I just say that? Did I say it's wardrobe dress? Did I not say that? There we go. Accept. That's perfect. Compatibility base is Genesis 8 females, correct? This is all correct, I think. Category, I think I'm going to be okay without a category. And accept, right? Product name isn't quite correct here either. No, actually, product name was correct. This is just the folder here in which it'll save it. So I think that's correct. Let's go and try that. Let's see if it works. And when we do that, it not only writes out the DUF file, it also, Jehu, never heard of him. It also writes out the geometry. And I just want to make sure it is doing that properly. So that will be in dress product, and it'll be in the data folder in JVerse Lewis. That's correct. There's another JVerse Lewis in here, and then it's OneDrive. This is all screwed up. So this was not saved correctly, interestingly. So let's go and make sure that doesn't stay that way. So data folder can stay. Everything else needs to go. That's just terrible. Where's the delete button when you need it? Why isn't it here today? Oh, there, big red delete button. Let's try this again, because seriously, that's just rude, man. And also, I thought I could do this with the little plus icon. Can't I do that? No, I can't. It has to be file, save as, support asset, figure prop asset. And the DUF file is in the correct place, so we want to put it there. That's correct. But then, yes, overwrite that. But then this is where it all goes wrong. This is the asset directory. is correct here. The product name, it's just going to be that though, isn't it? Not lengthy file name. There, that should do the trick. Let's do that. Let's try. Always good to try. Then try again. So in the data folder we have J, we have the Jet Set Retro Pocket Dress, we have it again, I don't really know why, it shouldn't really be that way. We've got morphs, we've got the UV sets, and we've got the DSF file here, that describes the geometry file. So it's still, I'm not entirely sure why it has this twice here. So let's go and do this again, because, you know, that's just the kind of people we are. We just, we're not professionals. We just keep trying things 47 million times until it accidentally works, and then we say, yeah, we've made it, it's good. Figure prop asset. It's correct. We're going to go and save that. So this is the definition file. We want to override it. So the asset directory is the correct one, isn't it? What's the difference between the product name and the item name? Do we need an item name? This is what caused the second thing. Maybe we don't need an item name. Just go get rid of the item name. No, we have to have an item name. Perhaps we get rid of the product name instead. How's that? Will that work? No. Maybe we'll call it, we'll just have Jet Set and then Retro Pocket Dress. Would that work? Wouldn't that be nice? Maybe we'll just, shall we just leave with the double structure? The item name, perhaps the item name is just the dress, in case we had a product name that has shoes and a top and whatever, then this would be the dress, something else would be the shoes and so forth. So keep it compartmentalized there. Who knows? I'll just leave it like this. So that should still give us the double folder structure, but it'll be Jet Set, Retro Dress, and then we have Dress, and then we have the thing. So Javis Lewis, that's the vendor. Then we have the Jet Set Pocket Dress, and inside we have the dress, and then we have... The user isn't really going to see that, so technically it doesn't matter what this is, but it does matter when we come to wrap this product up. So in people, Genesis 8 female clothing, pocket dress, this is what the user sees. Like this icon here, when you double click that, that's what the user sees, and DAZ Studio just references all these other stuff in there. And if you don't save it correctly, then you don't give out the geometry. So the DAF file doesn't describe the dress. The DAF file references what the geometry looks like, and that's saved in the data folder. So it kind of makes sense that way. Exactly, yes, I suppose that would make sense. Or if we had the Jet Set outfit, and then we had the dress, and then we had the shoes, and we had the top, and then we had accessories and stuff. They all have a separate directory. I can see it. I can kind of see it working. So that's now saved. We have the material files already. We've got the dress mat and the shader mat. Does the dress mat still work? I think it does. It does. So the thumbnails don't look great, but at least there are thumbnails there. Let's go and make sure we actually save this as a scene. The scene isn't going to be distributed, but these things are. Let's make a quick promo render out of this. Just a quick one. Have I got some lights set up? I think I do. Dual spotlights. Let's do that. I'm making this in 4:3, I think. I think it needs to be a landscape 4:3 type image. Let's see if we have something like that. 4:3, yeah, that's cool. It doesn't have to be quite that large, so I think maybe 1200 by 1600 is just okay. We need to give Girly a little pose here. That's also important, and some hair. Whoops, sorry about that. Still working with my other modifier keys here. Let's give her something that accentuates just the body. There's a nice pose in the Genesis 8. No, actually not the... It's this one here. Classy poses, that's quite nice. I like that. Maybe something like this. Oh yes, it's a Genesis 3 pose, so it looks a tiny bit, what's the word, painful. Let's do a little adjustment on this. Much better. Look at that. Perfect. And I like the idea of well, deforcing it as well, but also having that arm bent slightly less. So maybe a little bit of power pose magic will greatly help us out there. Do we need the power pose, in fact? Maybe we don't. Maybe we do. Oh, that's the wrong hand. Just uncurl the fingers a little bit, like so. Since I'd like for this to be just, you know, focused on the dress rather than the face. Yeah, that looks like a nice fashion editorial, doesn't it? So let's hope there's nothing that goes wrong with these, with the intersection with the legs here. Let's make ourselves a camera. And I'm happy to just cut off the face a little bit. That's okay for me. Let's set the HDRI to a little bit less in a moment. See what this looks like. Also maybe through the camera. We'll do the deforcing in a minute. Yeah, so the environment is a bit hot, so let's go make that 0.5 maybe. My lights are already doing a good job here. The rim light is a tad too bright. I might change the position to get that around a little bit, but I do like that separation here. Rim light, here you are. Yeah, it's just a tad strong. I think I might just go take that down a skosh, as Chris would say. Make it a little less even. See, that's still enough. See, that's not quite strong enough for me, so maybe I'll bring it back to that. Or even, do I maybe not mind so much? That was way too hot, so maybe half of that. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. I like that. So then the front light here, the key light, where's that? Oops. The key light is there. Oh, also the key lights, they're not actually, they're not pointing at my star of the show. Let me do that. There. That should sort that out. And the rim light could do with the same treatment. Yep. And now we make it a bit stronger. Cool. Promo image done. All right. I like it. Save. Then do some deforcing. And hope nothing explodes. We might give her... Should we give her some hair as well? I don't know. Who spit? Yes, me too, actually. The mouse still cracks me up. So the next animation I want to make is a Genesis figure that kind of skates. I have these rollerblading poses, and I think if I just take two of them together, 1 and 2, that should be nice to go and have her just skate through the frame from right to left. So that's my next thing that I'm trying to build. I'd like to get a few more animations out because it would be good to have like 4 or 5. That'd be nice. let's see how that works. I don't know when I'll do that. So August seems a bit of a busy month for me. I'm not sure if I have enough time for that. But there we go. So that has kind of done this at the bottom. I'm not entirely sure if we get enough light on the dress. So I have the key light is currently pointing at the chest level. I think that should point either come down, or also the constraint should be further in the center of her body. Let's do that. So key light under constraints, instead of chest we go and say abdomen lower. Let's try that. Yeah, there we go. That's more in the center of the dress. We could probably do abdomen upper. Yeah, let's do that. And also I'd like for that to come over here a bit, so that, like that. I like the little bit of side light, but not quite that much. So it's, even though dramatic, I like for it also to be functional. So let's see what that looks like in the preview. Might turn down the what's it called, the tell me, environment light, check, or also the key light. I think we cranked that up earlier. That's still very strong, but that's probably also the environment light here. Let me go and switch that off completely. So this is still the key light is still too strong. But that's now way too low, isn't it? How about that? It's kind of getting there. It's kind of getting there. That, and then with the help of the environment light, I think that's the kind of look I'm looking for. There, not perfect, but you know, a bit of color correction in Photoshop will be there. We'll make that look handsome. So one thing I've noticed, and I'm not entirely sure where that comes from, is that there's a bit of the breast geometry isn't quite. There's some collapsing happening on the dress. I'm not sure why. Let me have a look at the parameters of the dress. I don't know if that's all good there. Oh, come on. I might be making it up, but I mean, since we haven't dForced this, I think there's some collapse going here, and I'm not really happy with that, especially for the promo image. I don't know what's going on. Let's see what we're using here. Oh, is it the Genesis 3 pose? No, that's not it. That doesn't do it. Quad split. I don't think that also doesn't do it. What does it then? Could it be the Y rotation? That's not it. That doesn't really do anything. I wonder what that is. Wonder why that's here. You're calling it a night? Yes, of course. It's been a long day for you, of course. Thank you so much for dropping by. I appreciate that. I do stream irregularly on, as Chris calls it, on Twitch at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the afternoon. I'll do more stuff like this because these are kind of working sessions that take a little bit longer. I'm doing more of Daniel's dresses there in the future. So 4 p.m. that is a different time for you. But do follow me there. !Twitch will get you a link to my channel if you want to follow me there. Yes, I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know what it is. Maybe with some of our breast things we can even this out. I really don't know why that is here. I haven't seen this before. It looks like I'm not using anything untoward as far as I can see, unless it's something hidden. I am using a ton of hidden stuff here. So it could well be related to that. I'm not super happy about that outcome. I got to be brutally honest. Thank you, Nate. Very much appreciated. Any suggestions what that could be? I mean, I could be sneaky and just add this part to the weight map. That might be an idea. Should we do that? I like that idea. Just add this part of the geometry that threatens to collapse all the time. Just add that bit to dForce and let this area be smoothed out. How's that for an idea? I'm not either. That's uncool. I've been taking so much care of the breasts and now they don't work. It's uncool. Okay, let's try this. Let's try this. We've saved our scene just in case I make any untoward changes. And I'll go and see if I can just paint these parts out just as an added bonus there. So select nothing first of all. Clear selection. And then just go and add. I'll do it directly with the weight map brush tool. Make my radius a tad bigger here and just I can't? Yeah, there we go, I can. That's nice. So just this area here, and it's also painting in a bit of smoothing already, which is kind of nice. Just the collapsed geometry issue bit here. Paint that directly on the map. I don't know if it's going to work, but thankfully we have a backup to go back to. See if that works. Now if we go back to simulation settings and just simulate that again, hopefully that's going to go away. Oh, the joint, that might be an idea. Yes, Chris, that's a good idea. Let's do that instead of this. That's a much better idea. We can probably leave this in addition, but that is an even better idea. Chris, you're the man. This is why you're the man, Chris, quite clearly. That is also true, Nate. There's more than one way to fix a problem. I'd rather do it with the regular weights than add this bit of dForce madness. I mean, this is gonna do something, but I really like the idea of it being fixed properly. And now also the other thing, so yeah, look at that. This has done a better job, but it's still not exactly fixed, is it? So I might go and refine this and do the other thing as well. I think I like that idea. I like that idea. Let's go clear it. So it's done something. It's got an improvement here. I'll go and refine this a little bit by just going and adding more of the dForce goodness here as well as here. Whoops. But in additions, I'll go and have a look where the regular weights are doing their thing. Yeah, like here, this is exactly what's causing that. This and that. So you say, Chris, if we smooth this out a little bit, be like the story for success, huh? I'm thinking. Do I get that right? I'll go and clear my whole selection first. Clear selection, and go and probably have to do this in the geometry selector. Well, actually I can probably do it here. I just don't know if I see the selection. Wire shade it. Let's do it, Chris. Come on already. Right. I'm in the wrong tool, aren't I? Duh. There we go. General weights, and I need to go and select this geometry selection, select by, and this is the abdomen upper. So face groups, abdomen upper, select all this. And it's actually upper as well as the chest area as well. So chest lower. Chest upper not so much, it's just the the lower part, isn't it? So let's go add that as well. Select by face group chest. Is chest lower, isn't here? Oh, why? Region then. No, it's not here. I can see chest upper, I can see chest, but I can't see. Oh, okay, let's do that. That's cool. Let's do that. Fine. Good stuff. So these weights here, smooth that a bit. Thinking about it. Yes, that has done a lot already. Let's go and smooth that out a little bit more. Good tip. Thank you so much, Chris. That's very nice. Yeah, let's smooth this out. Come on. Yes, I think one more. I think even. Because then dForce can then take care of the rest with the map. I think that's a good idea. Yeah, there we go. And then also the abdomen upper will do that as well. See if that does the rest. That's actually really good. Your devices are dead or dying, Nate. Or it could be my stream that is dying. That is also very possible. Smooth selected. I don't know if that actually made that big a difference, because I've got troubling stream here as well. Well, there we go. Let's see if we've painted in the correct parts. Now it actually goes all the way up here, so I'll go and select. Where was it again? Geometry selection. Brain. Hello. There we go. So it goes all the way up here. So I'm going to go and paint this in. It's combination, huh? And I suppose, Chris, what do you think? We just paint the whole thing in here, just the whole abdomen thing, so that we don't have that that gap in between. Is that a cool idea? Is that a cool idea? Just to add this bit in. I think the back I'm kind of happy with leaving it as it is, but just so that these bits and pieces can just wrinkle through. Otherwise, we'll see probably a gap between these things. I'm thinking. And you watch on the laptop 3%, 19% on the phone. Wow. Okay. That's crazy. Let's do that. I think I feel better about this, to give it at least a little bit of the weight paint here, like so. That's what I'm thinking. See, I like it. I really like that, Chris. I appreciate your help, and I really appreciate all these tips. So technically, I've learned all these things from watching your streams. I very much appreciate how much time you take with these things. And also, I think this goes for every 3D creator, 3D artist. I admire your patience. You guys have so much patience. I can really learn from that. Also, you can really lose yourself in something like this and just keep playing around and see how it goes. I'll go and oversave this. Maybe should have saved it into a different file. Dang, brother. Okay, let's see how this looks. With this close, we'll make the render, we'll put it on the store. I like the speed, I like the progression. You can always tell if dForce is doing something and then it kind of stops halfway in the middle. That's never a good sign. Does this look good now, or are there still issues? I mean, it's certainly better than it was before, and this is what the dress would do. Kind of okay with it. We could try the other thing we could try is to give my girl a bit of a morph. So like the Mrs. Chow morph is an idea. Because we've had the Mrs. Chow body in there, we could do that. Give her the Mrs. Chow treatment. I don't know if I've had other character morphs in there. So she's not just the default figure. Oops. And then I can go and make this the promo. And try and simulate the skin, see what happens. I'm also not entirely sure if this is actually Christmas music or not. It sounds almost like it, doesn't it? I'm just thinking what I could also do is the adjustment morph that I made at the bottom that makes the dress a little wider. I could allow a little bit of negativity there if people wanted to put it in. You know, if they wanted for the dress to fall absolutely flat, that's another nice post adjustment that we could offer. Let's try that while we're there. Do you know what I mean? The thing that's at the very bottom here. That I've allowed it to make that a little bit of a wider adjustment. So skirt width. That does this, but if somebody wanted the opposite, let's see if we can allow that. So if we allow -1 as a negative, it's an adjustment. If you know, this was the default, and if I don't want it to flare, I could just make it fall down like that before it goes into the into the dress here, into the leg. I can adjust the length. Hey, I think this is a grand combination. So I might just leave that. Does this work also for the skirt length? If I wanted to give somebody like a -0.2, that, you know, if people wanted to make the skirt a little shorter. Now you see that doesn't have the same effect. I'm not digging that so much. So I'll leave this on the non-negative. Like so, but I like the idea that if somebody wanted to make it less wide, like this, you know, I like that. I like it. Sounds generic. Oh, good. Thanks, Nate. That's nice. I think also I don't think we need hair on her for the promo shot, but maybe a little expression of some description. Pose controls, head expressions. Do we have something happy-ish? I like that. Happy HD. It's better than happy SD. There we go. Big bright smile. I like it. Super. While we're here, a little bit of hair probably doesn't hurt. And an accessory. I like that when people wear accessories in promo shots. It just makes this look more, you know, just so much nicer. I do like a short hair, something that's not too intrusive. I recently started using this here, Carla hair. That's nice. We might not even see it. We can see it a little bit. That's cool. So maybe make that a bit darker. Doesn't have to be anything specific dark, just something dark, because I think the blonde kind of clashes with that. That's nice. Bit of accessorizing. Accessories. I bought a few dresses just for the accessories the other day. That was quite nice. These have these things here. That's nice. Just go, oops, sorry, that's not what I meant. I meant to put that on the figure, of course. Yeah, bracelets, there we go. Something like that, and a bit of a necklace. Also nice. Do we have anything for the other arm? Yes, there we go. Accessorized. All right. Short is easy, bald is strange, long sometimes occludes the clothing, so I totally dig where you're coming from. Let's go and save it all over this. I'm good. I'm good with this. And let's make a quick little render settings. Quickly go through this. I'm okay probably with 500 iterations for now. With my friend the denoiser on. Let's see what it looks like. It's certainly a good starting point. Then we can take it into Photoshop and just put a nice poppy background on there. Why not, indeed? Tux, if you, when exporting the clothes from Marvelous Designer 9.5, you have to select all textures or your clothes will be invisible when imported into DAZ Studio. Yes, I think, I don't remember if 9.5 had the UV editor. Did it? I don't remember. I know in 10 we have the UV editor. That might have been already in 9. But I don't quite remember how that works in 9.5. Is the denoiser actually working here? It is, isn't it? Are you done rendering already? Yes, it has. The denoiser was on, wasn't it? I think it was. Okay, let's render this at the slightly more iterations, just because we can. Jet Set Retro Pocket Dress, just so that I know where my render ends up. Jet Set Dress V1, I'll just call this. And go and let's go render that a little bit more iterations. Let's use 2000 while we amuse ourselves in a bit of photoshopping. I don't actually know. I still have 9.5. It's still installed. I could check that for you. Yeah, it's one of those things. I don't recall how materials worked in that. I know it didn't have PBR, but I thought it did have the UV editor. It's done already. I don't think that's because rendering quality was enabled. Do that again. And also Hexagon can probably close down. We're done with that morph. Thank you, Hexagon. I appreciate that. Meanwhile, Photoshop is at our disposal. I'd really like to wrap this up today, so I'll just go and keep going until, you know, we've got it all on the store. Here it is. Parkour boy, fire away. What's your question? Welcome to the stream. I'll go and add a solid color, something that'll work. It might be something red-ish. We'll test it out. Something like a dark-ish red. We'll test it out. That goes beyond here. Okay, that might work. I'm not entirely sure. We can also try picking a color from here. So black might work. Brown, if we make it a bit darker, that might work also. Or we take this here, the kind of the green, and make that darker. Yeah, I'm not sure about the green. I'm not a fan of the green. Not a fan of the green. See what speaks to us. Blue is kind of bluish purple. That might work. That might work. Red. Yeah, I don't know. I think that was kind of nice. Bluish purple. Something like this. That might work. And then in addition, if we go and add, hello, dress V2, that's cool. That's slightly higher counter. That's nice. I might make a turntable of this as well. And this one, that one was with the lower iterations. That's cool. What's happening here? Why is there a white bar in front of my there? That's what text? No, that's not totally not it. Go away. There. So let's make a new layer. I'll make a little vignette here. My favorite. I could also use a radial gradient, I suppose. But if I just go do this, radial gradient will also work. Something like this. Put that on the background. Then that will be mighty nice. Invert selection. Grab myself that opacity 100%. Go put that in here. I said 100%, didn't I? Didn't I? Kind of did. That's nice. Disable. Turn into smart object. And then make that a bit blurry here. Bit of the old Gaussian blur like that. That's cool. That's nice. Now drop down opacity a bit. Like that. Might make that a bit brighter now. Awesome. No color correction needed. That's a promo shot. Yes, you can. Yes, it will. It kind of depends if the clothing is made of individual pieces that are not welded together, and you bring it into Marvelous Designer, it'll fall apart. But you can, if you have it, if it's one piece and you bring it in via import obj to garment, and it's a solid piece, then you can go and bring it and your avatar in and then fit it. So that will work. So if you have a custom character and the pre-made dress doesn't really work well with any of the things that you can do in DAZ Studio, then you can use that and basically bring in a pre-made item of clothing into Marvelous Designer and bring your avatar into Marvelous Designer. So bring the avatar in just as import obj, then bring the clothing in as import obj to garment, and then simulate. And then usually Marvelous Designer will get it right and do its draping, and then you can save it out again, save the dress out again, and if you like, import it as a morph on your existing dress. Don't fit it in DAZ Studio. It'll kind of hang loose in the pose that you need, and then it'll work. So yeah, that you can do that. Do you have Marvelous Designer? Let's go and do this dress. Did we bring in the second version? We didn't, did we? I'm still using the low-res version. It's probably not a major issue, but while we're here, while we've made the high-res version, might as well use it. So bring that in. Looks a tiny, probably just a smidge nicer. There. And call that Jet Set Dress Promo V1. As I have more time, I'll go and render out maybe other bits and pieces here. Might as well. I might actually do that now. How's that? Should we let her turn around? I could try that. Make a back shot of it, so we have at least two. So it's the Y rotate that we need to play with. That doesn't look good on the back, does it? Man, that is uncool. Let's not show them that. Why did it do that? I don't really understand that. That's not good, is it? Why rotate? Sometimes, you know, I've had this before with DAZ Studio, that when you, as you turn things, things don't look so good anymore, and I really don't know why. This, we might give it a different pose here, I'm thinking. Or we just leave it the same pose, I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll go and turn that arm down a bit. And also make it less twisty, because that just looks sick, man. Sick it does. Does it? No, not that. Not that. It's probably because of it's probably because of this. It twist this less. And then also go and twist this less. No, that was probably okay-ish. Kind of like this bone. Turn it down, baby. Kind of like this. Whoop. Posing is always an adventure. So you got to constantly learn what direction you need to pull your thing in, and it's often not the one that's intuitive. Was this the hand? That's the hand. Cool. That might work as a backshot promo. Strong wind, yes. Very inflexible. Yeah, I've seen this before, and I don't really know what this is all about. If you take an object and you move it in the scene, doesn't matter if you go and turn it or if you just grab it and drag it, sometimes certain parts of the object stay in place. So I've seen this on feet of animals, for example. If you think, oh, that figure just needs to be in a different position, and you just left click and drag the figure, then the feet all of a sudden go like this, and they just stay there. And you look at all the joint rotation and the morphs, and there's not an obvious problem. And sometimes this is just what happens, and it's bizarre. Yeah, I'm still not happy with the arm twist here. I need to work on that. Let's work on that. I would not be happy with that type of arm twist here. It's this, right? Is it this? No, that's that. So the twist axis, that's not it either. Is it this? Yeah. So this is probably, that looks a little healthier. That, and then also the hand. I think we'll untwist that and make that a bit more, you know, more relaxed. So I think I'm happier with this. Let's go do this. That's fine. I do like it, yes. Yeah, I remember posing in Poser. It was a little bit more intuitive, but I think when in DAZ Studio with the combo, yeah, look, it looks much more natural now. I think what I like in DAZ Studio is that you have so many different types of tools. So you can grab a joint and move it directly. You can click on it and then use that rotational ball. You can use the power pose, and you can even blend poses with Puppeteer. So I kind of like the idea of having all these types of options available at the same time. So I kind of like that. And it's also very much a process of getting used to. There, we're nearly done. This also means, since we've painted out the weight brush with the weight map again, I think we're going to have to go and back V1. We have to go and save the product out again, because we haven't made all these changes. They're not quite part of the product at the moment, are they? So this we'll delete, because that's the old version. This is the dress front, and then this one here is going to be the dress back. Namely that. Perfect. It's not great, but hey, this is the promo back. We have it. Let me go and save this just in case I want to redo this. Promos. And 4x3, I think I'm using that because this is what the Ko-fi guys like to display on the store. Let's go and rotate this. I think it was back to -10. Actually, I can probably go and go Control-Shift-F to restore the figure. Can't I? It's thinking about it. There we go. That's that. Simulation settings. I'm not really worried about the camera setup. That's kind of easy to recreate. I'm just concerned that we're saving this version of the dress out as it's supposed to be. So rather than the the version that we had before that didn't have all the funky adjustments and whatnot on there. So I'll just go and put that into place just for that temporary thumbnail here, and I'll go and save this out again. So save as support asset, figure prop asset, jet set pocket dress like this, override, and it remembers things, which is nice. That's the other thing we're gonna have to do. We need to go and test it just briefly. And if I do make updates, I can always put updates on the store. That's cool. Let's go and do this final version. I'll save this out as my dress V8. And just before I wrap this all up, I'll go and make a brand new scene. Load in one of my Genesis 8 characters here. I've also got it in 8.1 so we can see if it works on both. That's always an important part, just make sure it kind of works in principle. Yes, it is. You know, Brett, it is absolutely. This is a lot of fun. Just literally left click and drag and do this. This is just it's hilarious, isn't it? Yes, I like doing that as well. I'm glad you're having fun with that. So if I go and add that dress, does it work? Yes, look at that. So it comes in. That's perfect. I do like that. Filament might be a little bit. Okay, let's go tone that down and just see if I go and apply one of my other poses, like, you know, person comes ahead and says it's anything that does fit Genesis 8, maybe one of the basic poses like this, fit that on there. Bit of distortion, no worries. Simulation settings, we just hit simulate. Expecting things to just work out of the box, that's kind of, you know, the idea. Yes, if you ever needed to use that in one of your videos, Nate, that's you get that functionality for free with DAZ Studio. Grab yourself a copy, daz3d.com. Oh wow, yes, Tugs, that's a good idea. Thank you. I'll put it on my long list of things to do. We will talk about posing in the second part of the Season Pass series. So that starts next Saturday. There's 3 parts. If you buy the Season Pass from DAZ 3D right now, you get access to those 3 sessions with me, and I'll talk more about posing and in-depth bits and pieces. So that's kind of nice. I'll talk in depth about how these tools work and how you can make your poses look a little bit more natural. And basically, what tools to use to get the character in the right position. But look at that, it works. So that is greatly appreciated here already. Let me go and remove her and use it with Genesis 8.1 as well. I'm sure it'll work. It's just one of those things. Let's just try it one more time. You can also try it on a man in case it works on as a cross-dresser outfit, just in case that's necessary. And then it's just a matter of saving the right thing out. It works. I like. Give other pose. Use this pose. Ding. Use the dForce. Yeah, that kink in between the legs, I might even that out at a later point. I might also add more full body morphs for other characters to it, including 8.1 characters. We'll see. That might be nice to just have some more options there. It's good training for me as well. It's good practice. Looks like it's working. I do like that. you know, actually, Tux, there's I think there was a 6-hour course that's just come out on the DAZ store. I forgot the vendor's name, but that's just come out, and it's a 6-hour video course about everything you need to know about posing. So that might be another way to look at. It's something I had on my wish list myself. It's currently, I think, 30% off. Don't know how good it is, but it comes with a PDF manual as well as 6 hours worth of video. So maybe there's a lot to be learned from that. That goes really into detail. I forgot the vendor's name. Don't remember. But hey, this is it, right? This has kind of worked here. It looks like it's going well. All we need to do now is go and put it on the Ko-fi store, and then share the URL with you. So DAZ product, we've got that here. These are all the things that need to be zipped up. Some of these things we don't need, but anything inside here that needs to be zipped up. I'll go and send that to compressed zip folder, and that has all the textures in it, that has the material presets, that has the dress in it. Jet Set Retro Pocket Dress V1. V1.0 I could call it. I'll just call it V1 here. And also, because I've got so much typing, I have a feeling I'm gonna have to type this in time and time again. Righty, Ko-fi store, add new product. Come on, this is exciting. Name, there we go, that comes in handy, doesn't it? Except for the V1. Digital item, it is in fact the digital item. Let's go next. Jet Set Retro Pocket Dress. I've converted one of Daniel's dresses for use in DAZ Studio. It features, I think, about 10 breast morphs, 2 full character morphs, Mrs. Chow, and I've forgotten what else. Maybe there was just one character morph. I really forgot. Let's have a look. If I can remember. They're probably hidden here. It could also be under actor. Mrs. Chow. No, just Mrs. Chow actually. Mrs. Chow full character morph. Full character morph for Mrs. Chow. And dForce. Enjoy. I might expand on this in the future. So I'll add the promo images we had here. Stream dress. Where did I put that? Oh yeah, that is actually in a different file. That's in here, and then that is in... There, this and that. Can I do multiple? Yes, I can. Awesome. And let's just see if I can move that to... Can I make that... Okay, remove that, add another one, because I'd like for this obviously to be the main promo, if I may. What, that's not possible? Oh, come on. Do I need to move that here? How do you... There we go. No, that's perfect. So I just click on it and that becomes the... Oh, gotcha. Perfect. Product video, I might make a turntable for this. That'll be nice as well. Bit more music while we wrap things up. That's Daniel's store. This is my store. So that'll be the turntable video, product summary, dForce dress for DAZ Studio. Product categories. I believe I have 3D content here. That's a good category. DAZ and DAZ Studio. That's also perfect. Let's do that. Assets. Right. Redirect the buyer or upload a file. Let's do uploading a file then, which is the one that I have just made. dress product, this one here. V1. Enable pay what you want. So it'll be 0 by default. And if you want to give me and or Daniel a little something, you can do that. I'm going to link to Daniel's Ko-fi store in here. There. Upload it. Perfect. Leave a message for instructions. Limit the quantity. Allow buyer to choose a quantity. Why not? Buy 3 dresses. Nah, it's okay. So I created this and it doesn't contain any illegal, adult, or prohibited content. It totally doesn't. Let's see what it looks like. Copy link. There we go. Boom. Awesome. Haha. And of course I will give you the link to this $5 million here. You can get the dress here. Woohoo! And party as well. Party, party. There we go, party. Ding. Awesome. There we go. I think that was successful. That was very successful. So I'm going to expand on the description. I'm going to render a little turntable animation out of that. I might do this on a Twitch stream soon this week, but you know, it's there now. And yes, that's all for this dress. Daniel has so many exciting items. I'm working on this corset here. That'll also appear there very soon. I've had a look at this, so we can totally put this together if you like. And there's also other outfits here. I'd like to have a look at this or that, and even this. And there's just so much stuff, and this as well here. And also Daniel's making so much other stuff. Like these 2 items would go together. This skirt and the basic polo, they'd be good together. Or even, you know, put all 3 together in one item, in one more product. This is nice as well. So I'm going to go through most of the items that I can, you know, get into DAZ Studio, and hopefully we can have another really good time. Absolutely, Brett. The hoodie is beautiful. Let me go and link to Daniel's store as well, or his Ko-fi page here. Daniel's Ko-fi page. And as I said, you can get his free Marvelous Designer files and try this yourself. Make the adjustment morphs and anything that you need for them. Fit them to other figures, even use them in Blender and all kinds of stuff. My friends, it was my pleasure and my privilege to be with you on the Saturday and the Sunday. And I hope we can go do more of these bits and pieces on the streams going forward. This is good practice for me, and it's always wonderful to hang out and, with you, so that, you know, we can learn from one another. Thank you for your tips and tricks. Have a wonderful rest of the Sunday. I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.